how has the advanced training data used in ChatGPT-4o contributed to its improved ability to handle complex and nuanced language?
Hmm. That's a fun question. Have you noticed that in 4.0, the context window of data from the web is from October 23? So we're looking at 6-month-old data now, ish, right? And so things are pretty well up to date. Pretty exciting on that one that we finally have data. Also, we're able to say, hey, go out, check this website, come back, give me this information, load files, and all that. So as far as how we are training it, there's a lot of questions out there, right? There's a lot of controversy around the Sky Voice from the demo, right? Is this actually kind of like a stolen voice? Is this a simulation of a voice? It's very curious. We don't have a lot of information on this. My guess is that there's some my feeling is this is going to become something we have to address as a society, right? So what's the difference between open information, like a public information on a website or YouTube or Twitter or TikTok, right? That if a person can go there and read through it, should an AI be able to go through there and read through it? I think you're going to have to define these as a society and what makes sense. So there's going to be, I think, some new, really kind of cultural appreciation for how this fits together and how we protect privacy and train things. It's a good question.
Yes, again, tremendously answered that question. Now we're going to dive into our next question. That is, in terms of data privacy, how does ChatGPT-4o ensure that user data is protected while still providing personalized interactions? As we have already spoken about it.
Yeah, I touched on this a little bit. They say they don't use any of the data for training. And I don't know. I don't know where the truth in this is. I would consider any information that you put anywhere in the world online as public information, right? I think nowadays we really have to realize that Big Brother's watching. We ourselves want information to be recorded and useful to us. So I wouldn't rely on any systems stated privacy statements, but their stated privacy seems to be fairly good, that they're not going to use your data for training for business responses. They're probably not even using your likes or dislikes for actual training. I think they're using that to build your personal profile preferences and the responses that you're looking for. So I wouldn't be afraid to say, hey, I like this, it's cool, it's bad, but I also wouldn't put private information in there that is sensitive to your clients, confidential, or they couldn't be out in the world. I don't really feel like it's an issue, but I just don't know how far I go. I won't trust it personally. So I'll say at least that much.
That makes sense. What are some of the challenges faced during development of ChatGPT-4o, particularly regarding the integration of ethical AI practices?
Oh my goodness, what a fun question. So we know there's legislation trying to be drafted up to create boards to oversee it, to make it so that maybe big companies can only run AI. This is going to become something that we have to fight with over the next 2 to 3 years to refine how the world wants it. And I think that I think it's not going to be possible for us to say how AI is going to be managed to force AI to be ethical, because it's going to be in the hands of a lot of free agents out there. And I think it's just like, one country learns how to make a gun, the next country makes a bigger one, right? You have criminals out there that make different kinds of guns that do different things, right? So it's really going to become a world where we're going to have police AIs, and we're going to have to just try to be ethical and open. And I wish we could say that we would make AI open just all open source anyways. There's enough of it that is so that a lot of private research can be done. That's a good thing. But it's we live in a world where there's going to be people that keep secrets and that develop things in ways that are unhealthy. So we have to be creative and find ways to protect ourselves in society from that.
Certainly. Can you describe how ChatGPT-4o's faster response time is archived technically, and how does improvement benefits real-time applications?
I couldn't answer how it's actually technically achieved. The
Okay.
I think that's a fun discussion. I should read some more into the science of it whenever I get a chance to catch my breath. I think what's more important is that there's going to be complexity in these systems that's more than a person can understand, and to look at how you can use it now today, and also keep an eye on where it's going to go in the future so that you don't build things in a way that's going to be easily replace all your hard work in future generations. But as far as how it's technically achieved, I don't know. I know that it's interesting to me is it's half the price of Turbo, right? So for example,
All right.
1 million tokens on OpenAI's API was $30 for no, it was $60 for Turbo, $30 for 4.0, and not 4.0, for like just 4. And now I think it's $15 per million tokens for 4.0.
All right, that makes sense. That does. And there is a question from the side of our audience that is, what are ethical considerations businesses should keep in mind while using AI?
I think there's some key principles in ethics that we start with. One is disclosing how we're how we're using people's private information, right?
Mhm.
Maybe I think everybody should assume that AI is being used. I don't think you should have to disclose that. That doesn't make sense, right? It'd be like saying I'm a carpenter and I don't use a hammer, right? So
Yes.
I think people just
Yes.
nowadays have to assume it's everywhere and it's being used. What I think needs to be done is you need to say to your clients, I'm using your age and your personal information to try to build a use case that gives you the best customization possible. And we collect whatever information we have. But for example, video, voice, we listen to how you do this, and that should be fairly open. People, I think clients pretty soon need to expect that, just like you do when you're using your computer now. Can it access my video? Can it access my audio? Right? Can it access my location? Based off that, it can essentially pull off a lot of information. I'm curious how long it's going to take before, like, or even if now, if I asked 4o to say, hey, can you recognize my genetic base? Can you tell if I'm Caucasian or Irish or Italian?
Yes.
Right? Not by my accent, but by the physics of the way my voice is, or the natural inclinations or expressions that I make. I think it's going to come to stuff like that. So as far as the ethical considerations, I think it's just a matter of transparency and trying to make sure that you're not blackboxing it. Same ethical considerations we take nowadays, knowing that, when you do good, you get good. If you try to, you don't always get good, right? But at least try to do good, and not use black hat practices, because they tend anyways to be short-term gains with fairly harsh kickbacks when people realize what's going on. So if you couldn't state what you're doing publicly, not giving away your private secrets, right? Companies protect its intellectual property and its value proposition, but that's different than saying, "Hey, grandma, this is what I'm doing," and grandma not smacking you.
Yeah, indeed. And how can businesses use ChatGPT for O to enhance customer service?
I think it's already taken over call centers. It's going to make.
It is, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that last part again.
Yeah, how can businesses use ChatGPT 4o to enhance customer service? That was the question.
Okay, that's right. So it's going to take over call centers. It's going to take over chatbots. Already, we're finding. I think there's a study done, and I can't reference it. I got to look for it. But there's a study done that people prefer now AI support over human support because they're getting faster responses. They're not getting bounced around to multiple different call centers or offices, and they're getting solutions that are fairly optimal to their actual problem. So they're finding the knowledge base of AI is probably more significant than those of most standard employees especially when it comes to technical things. So I think it's only going to be uh, used more and more in every aspect of the business, and I think you want to enable that, and I think but you also want to say, hey, I don't want to go into a website or a call and think that I'm talking to Sky, that's a person,
Exactly.
right? And then it's like, okay, I'm the AI now. No, it should be, hey, I'm AI Sky, and I'm going to help you out. And if you ever want to talk to a real person, just let me know, right? Is it cool? We keep going, right? And just throw that out there. Let the people decide what they want, and of course there's going to be economics involved. Maybe it's based off budget pricing, and people have to realize that's the level of support they get with that kind of price range that they're able to pay or willing to pay on that service, and to be satisfied there. But I think as long as it's you're giving people options as much as the company is able to, maximize it, use it everywhere you can, and just let people know when it's being AI and when it's human creativity and when it's a combination. Mostly, I think it's going to find in the higher service products, in the highest service products, the done for you everything. It's going to be heavily AI based for information and referrals. But there's going to be a team of people making choices based off of that and integrating those solutions and giving the client quick basic feedback. They're going to provide that basic feedback to the AI, and the AI is going to send that back to the client, and the people are going to be there on the calls. On the lower end products, I expect it's going to be all AI handled, and people are just going to fairly appreciate that, knowing that they're getting the economies of scale that comes with that, and the limitations that come with it, and the limitations are shrinking rapidly.
Yes, that does answer our question. And there is another question from our audience that is, what are some common misconceptions about GPT-4o and everyday applications?
Hmm.
Since it's been used a lot in these things, so yeah, it does make mistakes.
Yeah. It still makes mistakes, and I don't know if they've really solved the problem of referencing sources in meaningful ways. So you still need to trust but verify, and that verification is getting
Exactly.
kind of harder nowadays. But I think some recent changes have made it so that it's easier for you to get to those references of core supporting documents. So I don't think we're going to get where things are information is referenced, but I think it's come to the point where you can say, hey, give me some supporting references for this. It'll then find that for you and use that to help verify and develop your personal knowledge. And I think what you have to do, just like apps, need to develop a focus or a niche that they specialize in, so they improve themselves over time.
Absolutely. Now, Philip, as we wrap up the insightful session, do you have anything to say to our audience regarding ChatGPT 4o?
Okay, yeah, it's just I'd like to emphasize that 4.0 represents a huge leap in technology forward from where we were in just 4 and Turbo, right? Turbo came in and it was faster. It gave us better experts, right? But this is giving us multimodal. It's given us huge robustness of grasp technology, of context window, and it's just going to become a more and more accurate tool that can help support our businesses, that can help us innovate and be creative. And I just say, don't lose your soul in the ease that AI gives us. Take it and take it as an advisor or as a guide, and create beautiful, amazing things that are going to get humanity and you to the next level.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for your participation and your engaging questions. Until next time, keep innovating and stay curious.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.